Good morning, friends. My name is Abhishek Verma. I am an assistant professor at MIT University. I teach the subject of political science, and today I am going to discuss about the topic of Union Public Service Commission, the UPSC. The UPSC or the Union Public Service Commission. This topic is very important for your all kind of competitive examinations, including your UPSC paper itself, the paper of SSC CGL, the banking paper, and all kind of competitive examinations, including your EPFO and the UGC NET examination. Union Public Service Commission. Before taking the class, I would like to request you all to please subscribe to my channel, The Political Friend, and I will keep updating you with all the educational videos. UPSC. The articles related to UPSC, Article 315 to Article 323, discussed in the Part 14 of the Indian Constitution. That is about UPSC, Union Public Service Commission. We have heard about this commission. We all want to aspire, we want to get selected, recruited through UPSC and become an A-class officer. The dream of becoming an IAS is very common in the dreams of every Indian. And what makes it so special? We all know that the UPSC examination will help us to work as a bureaucrat directly with the government and help the people to work for them at very ground root level. That is the importance of UPSC. But have you ever thought what is the formation, the composition and the methods which UPSC use for taking the examinations? What kind of body is itself in a UPSC? If you have seen my previous video of Election Commission of India, you might be knowing that UPSC is also a constitutional body. A constitutional body, as I have already mentioned in my previous videos, are the bodies whose formation was directed and given in the Constitution itself. The rules and regulations for formation of UPSC was also given by the Constitution. Article 315 to Article 323, Part 14 of the Constitution. The Union Public Service Commission, it is an independent body, an independent constitutional body that is working for the people under the guidance of and control of the government. We should know about the composition of UPSC. UPSC is a central recruiting agency in India that takes the examination. The examination of recruiting all the bureaucrats. Since it is a constitutional body and the formation of UPSC was given right in 1950 after the framing of the Constitution, we need to know what are the composition of the UPSC and why do we need to check about the UPSC. So, the members and the chairperson of UPSC are appointed by the President of India. The Constitution gives the right to the President to appoint all the members that are in UPSC. The UPSC consists of a chairperson. Apart from a chairperson, we have several members. However, it is to note that the composition of UPSC is not itself very much defined in the Constitution. That means the number of members who would be forming the UPSC are not defined in the Constitution. So, who directs and elects that how many numbers of members should be there in the UPSC? The President has been given and vested the power to select the members of UPSC. He appoints them. By convention, right now we have around 9 to 11 members in our UPSC. 9 to 11 members, all members are appointed by the President. So that is the composition. Again, I would like to point out, similarly like as Election Commission of India, no educational qualification has been given in the UPSC as well. That means no such qualification has been prescribed for becoming a member of the UPSC. So what is the criteria? Can anyone be a member? Since the educational qualification is not given, what criteria is given in the Constitution. The Constitution says that a member should be such persons, at least half of the members should be such persons who have served the government either in the central government or in the state government. So, the only criteria for half of the members is that those members should be serving in the government of India or in the government of states. The president himself is vested the power to determine the conditions of the service of the chairperson and other members of the commission. Once appointed, the members of the commission are allowed to have a tenure of 6 years or until they have the maximum age of 65 years. So if you can recall, similarly in the Election Commission of India, we had this condition. Either the members have the 65 years of age or they have 6 years of tenure working in the UPSC. Apart from it, can a member of UPSC resign by himself? Yes. By tendering his resignation to the president, a member who is from UPSC can tender his resignation. He can resign from his body. But though appointed by the president, is a member allowed to be removed by the president only? Can he be easily removed? Can we easily remove a member of UPSC? The answer is no. Just like the member of Election Commission of India, it is not quite easy to remove the member of an UPSC since it is also a constitutional body. The same manner which has been prescribed for removal of an Election Commission of India member, the same procedure is to be followed here. That I will tell you in few minutes. Apart from that, the president is the one who appoints the acting chairman of UPSC if the present chairman or the incumbent position falls vacant, either in the case of death of the previous chairperson or if a person has been removed from the post of chairperson of UPSC or some other reasons that cannot be avoided. So this is the composition of UPSC. We should note that UPSC is a central body. It is an independent body, a constitutional body. Apart from it, no qualification has been prescribed in the constitution, no such educational qualification has been prescribed. All the members of UPSC are appointed by the President of India. Now coming to the next portion, that is the removal of the members of UPSC. The removal of the members of UPSC. As I have already said, that since these members are appointed by the President, they can be removed by the President only, but not in an easy way manner. There has been described a particular manner in which a member of UPSC can be removed by his post. So the Constitution defines such manners in which a member of UPSC or the chairperson of UPSC can be removed. Coming to the points one by one. If a person who is the member of the UPSC, if he is insolvent, by insolvent we mean to say that if he has gone bankrupt, no money, he has done some fraud, he have done some financial fraud, insolvent, full of debt, cannot pay the debt, that is insolvency. If a member is not sound by his mind, if he cannot think and take decisions, he is not capable to, maybe he has met an accident, his thinking capability, his decision taking ability has diminished, mentally he is challenged, and hence the president feels that this particular member now could not be the member of the UPSC. And one very common term which comes with the removal is the person can be removed in case if he is found guilty for misbehavior. The misbehavior term which is given in the Constitution it is not as easy as other terms. The misbehavior term which means here is the term that is not accountable for misbehaving with someone. What kind of misbehavior we are talking about? By misbehavior, we mean that the person has an interest in the financial contract if he have given to someone. Suppose the examination is taken by UPSC. We know that all over India the centers are made. In allotment of that center or having the recording of that examination, one of the members of UPSC tries to get some financial benefit. Is he allowed to do so? The answer is no. He is not allowed to do so, because if a person who is member of UPSC, if he is involved in financial gains, there may be a case that he could diminish the importance of this paper and can indulge in other illegal activities as well. So that is completely not allowed by the UPSC member, and in case if such kind of cases are there, the person can be removed from the UPSC. But how will we prove? Can the president himself write give an order of removal of the chairperson or the members of UPSC without finding him guilty? Thus only accusing of getting financial gains, can we easily remove any person from the post of being member of UPSC? Again, the answer is no. As I said, the removal of members of UPSC or the chairperson of UPSC has to be logically proven. It has to be legally proven. And who will prove this legally? Since it is a constitutional body, to prove him guilty or not, it is a duty of the Supreme Court. So what happens? An inquiry is set by the Supreme Court regarding the cases that has been charged against this UPSC member. If found guilty, the member can be removed only on the advice of the Supreme Court and not by the president himself. So if the Supreme Court after the inquiry upholds the decision that the member is guilty, he could be removed. Any kind of financial gains which a member tries to get after being in position of UPSC is completely not allowed. That has to be checked, and if such kind of misbehavior is found, he could be removed. Profit of contract. As I told already, that any contract in which any kind of profit, the profit cannot only be financial, it cannot only be monetary. Giving cash, taking cash could not only be the circumstances. Helping someone to clear the examination, the interview, and getting some kind of lands at some posh areas, that is also a kind of, any kind of bribe, that is not allowed. Any kind of financial interest, not allowed. Any kind of gifts and kinds in lieu of giving favor to someone, not allowed. These are the kinds of misbehaviors on the basis of which a member can be removed by the president, only after when the Supreme Court upholds the decision that the person is guilty of doing such act. Now we are already very much aware that president is one of the key factor in the members selected by the UPSC or in its removal. But does that mean that the post of pleasure for the president? And the answer again is no. Because the UPSC has given its members and its chairperson certain kind of independence that cannot be withheld or controlled by any other institution of the government, may it be the president itself. So the members of the UPSC and the members of the chairperson of the UPSC has been given a security of tenure. Once he is selected until and unless he is indulged in any kind of dupe or illegal activities. And I have already told you what are the measures for that. Apart from it, the conditions of service which has already been given while joining, those cannot go to the disadvantage after his appointment. If a member of UPSC has been given all the perks at the time of joining, by any means these perks could not be taken away by him for all after his joining in between of his tenure. The entire expenses, including the salaries, the allowances, the perks, the benefits, we all know what kind of benefits the government servants get. They get the transportation facilities, the facilities of residence, they have assistants to help them. So all these kinds of allowances, the facilities are given to the members of UPSC, and they are charged from the Consolidated Fund of India. Guys, it is your duty. I am again asking you to do some work, some research. Go and try to find what is the difference between the Contingency Fund of India and the Consolidated Fund of India. Here I am telling you that the allowances, the salaries, the perks given to the members of UPSC, the chairperson of UPSC, is charged by the Consolidated Fund of India. The Consolidated Fund of India does not go to vote in the parliament. That is, they are not subjected to vote in the parliament. It has to be directly given to the members whose salaries and allowances have to be given. It has to be provided to them. Then we have the chairperson of the UPSC. Can he be further employed? That is again a big question. Think of a situation, the chairperson of UPSC getting employed in some other post after his retirement. Will he be really not biased towards that government? Suppose a chairperson is there from UPSC, he attained the age of 65, he has been terminated, or he has got, after 65 his tenure is complete. Again, the present government in which he was the chairperson gives him some other post. For that post, for having that particular post, because he is the chairperson of UPSC, already a lead post. So whatever post he will be given next would be some kind of high post only. For that post, what if he succumbs his duties, he succumbs the credibility of his job and favors some of the members of political parties of the incumbent government? Is it not wrong? And hence, to save this only, the government said that no further reappointment of chairperson of UPSC is allowed, because the government also fears that in lieu of getting some favorable position in the government or in some kind of institutions, this person, the chairperson, could engage himself in certain kind of illegal activities, or he might withdraw his credibility, he might reduce his credibility of job and go to other places. Now, a member of UPSC is eligible for reappointment as a chairperson or to be a State Public Service Commission member, but not for any other employment in government or in government of India or in state. So think the difference. The chairperson of UPSC is not allowed for the appointment. The members are allowed, because amongst those members only one could be the chairperson, the next chairperson, or members of other State Public Service Commission. That is allowed. Okay. So we need to be very clear that this post is not the post of pressure for the president. The removal of UPSC on proven misbehavior grounds are quite tough and not very easy, because that member has to go to the that person has to be proven guilty in the Supreme Court, and the order of Supreme Court is binding on the president. He has not any choice. If proven guilty in Supreme Court, he has to be removed. Security of tenure is there. Okay. So these are the process in which the members and the chairperson can be reappointed or not, or what kind of independence is given. Now, can a chairperson of UPSC have a second term as the chairperson? A member of the UPSC has the second option to go to the or to become the chairperson. But can the chairperson be reappointed to his post? Is he allowed to again be reappointed as a chairperson having a second term? The answer is no. The chairperson of UPSC is not allowed for the second appointment or the reappointment. That is also very clear. So we need to be very clear in our points that the member of UPSC have a security of tenure. The removal has a certain process that proven guilty should be found of misbehavior by the Supreme Court. The decision of Supreme Court is binding on the president. This post is not the post of pleasure for the president, and the chairperson cannot have a second term. The chairperson cannot have a reappointment in any other governmental institutions after retirement. Only the members have this eligibility, and that too they can go either to become the chairperson or the members of other state public service commission, and there is no further reappointment or second term for the chairperson of the UPSC. Coming to the functions of UPSC. What functions UPSC performs? We all know that UPSC is a central recruiting agency. The central recruiting agency under the government of India, all the actions and functions controlled by the president. The president is the head. He controls the appointment, the removal. But the functions are very important part of UPSC. The first foremost function is all the central examination are conducted by the UPSC. All India services examinations conducted by UPSC. The central services examination conducted by UPSC, and all kinds of public service examination for the center are taken by the UPSC. Apart from it, is only a recruiting agency required for UPSC, or only that role is sufficient for UPSC? Again, the answer is no. You see, UPSC performs different kinds of functions as well. These functions are joint recruitment for any kind of services. So, if the states request the UPSC to take the joint services examination, suppose if a particular state, due to any kind of political turmoil, is not able to have the examination for public services, and without bureaucracy, the government cannot run. It is one of the most essential part of the governance. So, what if the state, due to political turmoil or due to some kind of inefficiency, could not take the examination? Can that role be performed by UPSC as well for the state's examination, providing the bureaucracy? And the answer is yes, because the states can take help from the UPSC to have the recruitment of the public services people. Now coming to more functions. The services which are required in the state or in the center on the recommendation by the governor in the state or president in the center. If suppose some important work has to be done and the recruiting agency, we need to have some personal staffs. Personal staffs are those staffs which work for the government for various agencies. So we have the Department of Personal Training, DOPT, and that is the that agency is completely responsible for providing the members having their routines and the work performed. Okay, so some kind of personnel required for performing the duties. What if the state needs those kind of personnel? Who will try to recruit those persons? The UPSC will try to recruit those persons on the recommendation of governor in the state and the president in the center. Now, the UPSC is not only a recruiting agency. It also advises the governments all the president and governor in the cases consultant to them. What those cases are? Any matter related to the civil post, any kind of query related to civil post, the UPSC acts as an advisory body and provides the information for those kind of civil posts. Then the principles followed in making appointments and making promotions of the civil servants. So suppose in any state, the state wants to determine what kind of services, what kind of promotions and transfers, or on what basis they should make, the UPSC works as an advisory council for them also. The candidates and appointments of civil services, the promotions, transfers, and sending members on deputations. These works are also performed by the UPSC members. So, you might be knowing that during elections, the ECI, they tend to use the bureaucrats, the IS officers, for different posts, for making them as observers of certain constituency or in particular states, so that the election process could take place in a very peaceful manner. So these posts are not defined anywhere, but on the request of governor, on the request of president, the UPSC sends its personnel, its staff to carry out these works also. Okay, for any kind of civil services on deputation. What is deputation? By deputation, it only means to have a temporary position in some government offices to carry out personal specific work. So, suppose that a person who is an IS officer, he has been sent to health department. So, obviously, a person who has been an IS, he might not be from the medical background only. He could be from any graduate background, but sent to medical field. Why? Because he has been on deputation to send him for different kinds of duties and roles assigned. He has to go on deputation. Any disciplinary action that has to be taken, any matter which has to be taken against a civil servant, like the matter related to financial transactions, withholding the increments, withholding the promotion, removal from service, dismissal from service, recovery of the financial losses, all these things are done by the UPSC on a deputation basis by the government of India. If they want the members of UPSC to go and determine these all terms, they are called for performing these kind of specific jobs. Suppose now a UPSC qualified member, an IS member, I mean to say, an IS or a member of UPSC, he has some kind of legal expenses for the decisions taken by him under his authority, and that goes for a civil case. What will happen to them? Who will decide that what kind of proceedings should be made, what kind of reimbursement or for the legal expenses should be incurred upon? Who will take the care of that? In that case also, UPSC gives the advisory role and it gives advices regarding the same. Now coming to other topic. Grant of extension of services. You might have heard that after retirement also, many IS servants, many judges of Supreme Court and High Court are given some of the posts so that they can run the government in a better way, because they have already been in service for 32 years. They have quite good experience regarding the services allowed, and hence these members are called for doing and performing the specific duty. The Supreme Court has also held that in certain cases where the UPSC is asked to give its advices, what happens if the government does not take advices of the UPSC? Or a particular member of UPSC, when he has to be concerned and asked about some topic, when he is not allowed to give his opinion. What about the aggrieved civil servant? This public servant has no remedy in the court. The Supreme Court says that though UPSC is also advisory body, the members of UPSC, if not consulted by the government in any of the matter relating to jurisprudence, can anything be done by this aggrieved public servant? The answer is no. The Supreme Court says that let the decision take place. If not also taken the advice of that particular public servant, that is completely fine, because that is only advisory in nature and not binding at all on the government. So if a decision has not been taken and has not been approved by any kind of civil servant, public servant, by the government, where they were allowed to speak or whether they were allowed to get give opinions, what will happen in that case? The Supreme Court says let the decision carry forward, and if such a decision are still taking place, the aggrieved public servant, if not consulted, that is also fine. No issues in that. The government can easily do that, and that is also a case. The provision of consulting the UPSC member is only directory in nature. They can give a direction. They can provide with a direction, but they cannot bind the government to follow their advices. And that is the part given by the Supreme Court. So this is also a job of UPSC. If not consulted also, you can't do anything. That is very clear. The government should act fairly and without any kind of arbitrariness or malafide in taking decisions. So why this function of power has been allotted to UPSC member to give a consulting advice? Because we all know that the elected member of the parliament is the people's representatives, but due to expertise of the bureaucrat, because he has been in this service, he has been serving the bureaucracy, he have also a good knowledge, a good idea of what should be done for the public. So it is also a very common debate in our country that why, if a peon of office also has to give an examination, he has to be 10th pass, the matriculation he has to be done, then why not the politicians? And think of the country when politicians are not very much educated, still they are making laws and all. On what basis? This bureaucracy is responsible for this. And this bureaucracy is made by the UPSC. They create the best bureaucrats to run the country. Now, what extra roles we have by the UPSC members? So, the UPSC acts as a corporate body or public institution within the jurisdiction of UPSC. They have a personal system. Personal system, I mean to say, it's not personal, it's personal. PERSONNEL, personal matter. That means they're providing the officers bureaucracy for different kinds of jobs and all. So, in that personal officers matter, the UPSC acts as a corporate body to provide the members. An HR agency, recruiting agency, an advisory body, though not binding, but still people with expertise, the bureaucracy running the government. The president has to annually present a report of performance of the members of UPSC. Why this report by the president in the parliament regarding the members of UPSC? So that we can have a check and balance of the work done, the malafides included, whether any UPSC member has done something wrong, some financial matters involved, not good for the public decision, And that is where, that is where it becomes a very much important balance to maintain between the bureaucracy and the parliamentarians. The legislature and the bureaucracy, they should have a check and balance on each of them. If not maintained, the arbitrary decision of the bureaucracy would affect the people. The people who have elected the representative, the legislature, the parliamentarians, they will have to give answers for the decisions taken. So we have a binding force which need to bind this legislature and this bureaucracy together to make some good decisions. There is always a tussle between who runs the government exactly, or who makes the policies for the people. The bureaucracy, under the guidance of different leaders, they make the decisions. The leader give their expertise in the matter, then it goes to various houses for discussions and all. So that is another aspect of the story. We will cover that also. How does the bill passes in the parliament? What are the roles of different kind of agencies involved? What kind of decisions they take? So that we will do something. The Appointments Committee of the Union Cabinet, they are responsible to have, accept or not, the report given by the President. That means the Appointment Committee, they have the authority to judge whether the report regarding the working and functioning of UPSC members are satisfactory or not, whether the particular UPSC member have done something good or bad. So the Appointments Committee verifies this file, this report by the President, and then works according to the report given. An individual ministry of the government or any department has no power to reject the advice of UPSC. See, decision not taken by the government to involve the UPSC, that is fine. Their advice not mandatory, that is also fine. But no particular ministry or department has power to reject the advice of UPSC. They cannot follow, that is another thing. If advice is given by UPSC member, they could not follow it, but they are not allowed to just reject the orders given, reject the suggestions given by the UPSC members. Why not? Because again I said, to maintain the balance, the legislature, the bureaucracy working hand in hand for the benefit of people. And if there would be a tussle between these two powers, trust me, no government would survive, no citizen would be happy, no proper democratic setup would run in a very smooth way. That is very clear. Very tough to not to maintain the balance between the bureaucracy and the legislature. Now coming to the limitations of UPSC. Do we have any limitations? Are they restricted of doing something? While making reservations of appointments or posts in favor of the backward scheduled castes of citizens, they have no power to advise. So, UPSC is not consulted in the matters when the reservation policy, that is the affirmative action, has to come regarding the reservation given to the scheduled caste people. Not taken into consideration regarding any decision taken for the reservation of scheduled tribes. The government feels that there should be a reservation policy in this department for scheduled caste or scheduled tribes. UPSC member not consulted, that is fine. Because the legislature have come from the people. They want to make their people a better citizen, a better place for their citizens, and for this only they are trying to bring the affirmative action. So, can the UPSC be consulted regarding this? Are they bound to ask the UPSC members to give their advice? The answer is no. The Constitution states that the President, in respect to all India services and central services of the post, may make regulation specifying the matters that shall not be compulsory for consulting the UPSC. That is, if the President feels that okay, in a particular all India services or in any kind of central services, I need to bring a change. Should I do a consultation with the UPSC members for this? Answer is no. An advisory body, President feels I should not ask, or should I ask? Answer is no. You are free to do it by yourself. You need to consult the UPSC members. However, if any such regulation is made regarding the change of all India services, this bill has to be laid down before the member of parliament in each of the houses at least 14 days before bringing this change. So, in any kind of all India services, if the President needs to change something, the President will have to make a bill. That resolution will go to the Parliament at least 14 days prior of bringing any change. The resolution would be passed by both the houses and then only can be brought as law. But the President have laid down a change in the specific matters relating to the regulations of the all India services. It has to be sent to the Parliament 14 days prior. Can the Parliament appeal, repeal, or amend that? A notification came from the President House in the Parliament. I feel like the all India services, the regulations regarding this topic should be brought a new change, a new resolution being passed. Can the Parliament amend that, repeal that? Answer is yes. If any all India services, any regulation, any norms has to be changed, it can be repealed by the the Parliament. The Parliament can repeal or amend such resolution 14 days prior. That resolution has to be given in the Parliament. The President cannot consult the UPSC members. That is completely fine, allowed. Let's see if the Parliament passes or repeals that. That is the limitations for the UPSC members. So in case of promotions, post and reservation policies of scheduled caste, no say of UPSC members. For the promotion, post reservation of the scheduled tribes, UPSC members have no say, no consultation. If the President feels he have to change the all India service, any regulation in that, he should not or could not consult the UPSC members, completely allowed. But that resolution has to go to the Parliament 14 days prior, and after that the government can appeal, repeal or amend that. That is the limitations of the UPSC members. Now, what is the important role? The Constitution visualizes that this UPSC is a watchdog of the merit system in India. Meritocracy is put on the stake with the help of this UPSC. Bring out the meritorious ones to run the country, to run the bureaucracy. to go the country to run in a smooth manner. Anything relating to the conditions, cadre management, training, and classification of services, pay and service conditions, all matters are handled by the DOPT, Department of Personnel Training. It is one of the three departments that are under the Ministry of Personnel, Public Grievances and Pensions. Guys, remember this ministry, remember this agency, this department. The ministry is the Ministry of Personnel, Public Grievances and Pensions. The ministry responsible for making the change, the classification of services, management, training of the civil services of the UPSC members. Then UPSC is only a central recruiting agency having the advisory role, but this ministry and the DOPT, the Department of Personnel Training, is a central personnel agency in India. So what if you clear the exam of UPSC, the written examination, mains examination? Who was responsible to take your interview? Who is responsible to give you a training? Which government agency and ministry is responsible? The Ministry of Personnel, Public Grievances and Pensions, and in that also the Department of Personnel Training. So keep this in mind. It is often a question in UPSC examinations, which kind of ministry or which ministry is involved in doing certain jobs, or which particular agency is there. As I told you, the appointments committee, the DOPT, all the agencies are there in ministry. In various ministries, you will find various agencies working, various departments. These specific departments have different roles, and we need to learn every department if we need to clear this UPSC examination. In the last previous 5 years examination, 3 times this question come: which department of which ministry is responsible for doing this particular kind of job. So while doing the parliament and various ministries, I will take the class of the various departments and the various ministries working in the central government. An important topic for the examination. 1 question or 2 question might come in your UPSC paper. If 1 question also comes, this question should be correct. If you need to score good marks, you need to qualify the preliminary examination. Now coming to the role of UPSC. Only a central recruiting agency. No role apart from having an advisory role and just a central recruiting agency taking examinations. That's all. No. Its recommendation are though advisory in nature, but the role of UPSC becomes very prominent because we have some of the best persons in the bureaucracy, very best person in the administration, expertise of different kinds of subjects. So, though not binding on the government, but still the advices are important. The ministers and the ministries take the advices while making recruitments, bringing employment opportunities, and that is an important aspect of that. Apart from it, they are answerable to the government and the parliament on the recommendation which is made by UPSC. So the government can make the rules on the advices given by the UPSC members. So their importance is not neglected, though not binding, but not neglected also very easily. One more topic I need to discuss in the advancement of this only UPSC, given in the M. Lakshmikant book also. In 1964, the Central Vigilance Commission came into existence. Central Vigilance Commission. Whenever any kind of bribery, any kind of financial duping, cheating for finances, having any kind of profit from the finances is done by a civil servant, the Central Vigilance Commission come into action. That is the body of government where you can complain, we can complain regarding the misconduct of duties, mishandling the duties by the members of bureaucracy, members of UPSC. So does coming of a CVC, a new agency, minimizes the role of UPSC? Because if a matter of concern of regarding financial mistrust or favor is taken by a public servant, when Central Vigilance Commission will come into place, that means if they are taking the care of this case, the role of UPSC got diminished. Answer is no. Why? Because both of the agencies are consulted by the government. Both of the agencies are consulted by the government, and the UPSC is a constitutional body established by the Constitution of India. The Central Vigilance Commission is a statutory body, and that also it got its existence in 2003 by the executive order of the government. But in any case of misconduct carried out by the civil servants, the Public Service Commission members, the UPSC have an edge of decision making regarding the conduct of that particular public servant over the CVC. The CVC will do the inquiry part. The Supreme Court will do the needful of giving the exactly justice, but after that UPSC will take care of what kind of punishment or what kind of activity which was done by the public servant has to deal with. So that is why in any case of conflicting nature, the CVC gets a bit lower by the UPSC, since UPSC is a constitutional body. By statutory body, as I said that there are no in Constitution, there are constitutional bodies, non-constitutional bodies, statutory bodies. The statutory bodies are the resolutions, executive resolutions taken by the government. Okay, so the resolution is passed in the parliament by the legislatures, by the member of parliaments, and then a status of statutory body is given to an institution. CVC got this statutory body recognition in 2003. However, it was formed in 1964. But in case of any kind of disciplinary manners, the decision of UPSC shall be vested and it will get higher priority over the CVC. So this was all about the UPSC, and I think that you must go to each and every topic again. Please have a check, because everything which I am telling you has a complete detail here on your board. Go through the notes, stop the video, read that note, listen to what I am saying, and if any doubt arises, please go into the comment section and ask about your questions. That was all for the UPSC. Thank you so much. Please subscribe to my channel, The Political Friend. See you soon, guys. I will keep you updating with more educational videos. Thank you and best of luck for the examinations. Thank you.